Here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. There is no sound in the courtroom. I guess we are waiting for jurors to assemble. And I do want to say that KPM called it. KPM said they were probably going to go to lunch and then bring the verdict back, and that appears to be what has happened. All right, everybody. I'm going to say it's probably guilty. That's my gut feeling. And I know why there is pushback on a guilty verdict. I understand it fully. Oh, there's Crystal. They're holding space for her. The jury took some time. Yeah. I mean, if you looked at any of the other polls on much bigger channels, like the Core TV kept running polls, and it was basically like 99% guilty. And again, those are just court of public opinion polls. But thank you, Rocket Girl. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it when lurkers, even if they just say it once, they come by and say hi. I really do appreciate that. The lady right there with the long hair, that is Harmony's biological mother. Her name is Crystal. And unfortunately, Crystal was addicted to drugs when she lost custody of Harmony, and in the pink, that's Harmony Montgomery's biological mother. That's her. She lost custody of Harmony because she was addicted to drugs, and Harmony ended up in the care of Adam, and we ended up where we are right now, unfortunately. And I can only imagine how Crystal feels. Yeah. She was there every day of the trial. We can't say that about Adam. Adam does not appear to be in court. Hello, KNS. Nice to see you. Cinnamon Hot, I believe that was said. I don't know if it's true. It looks like that. I remember that being part of the story, but I can't vouch for whether that's true or not. Please remember to thumbs up the stream. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you all being here. I appreciate your compassionate commentary in my chat and the facts that you bring to help me out with my coverage. I came to this case kind of like a juror because I didn't follow it closely at the time. So I followed along. I pretty much followed along with the trial. And, unlike a juror who's being sequestered, I did read up as I was going and found out more information. And my opinion of Adam definitely hardened as I went along. So I am a very partial, biased juror. I sure am. I don't know if I'll do Delphi, but I'll definitely do Idaho 4. I did cover the Koberger hearing that happened a couple weeks ago. Just kind of checking out the body language. Hey everyone coming into chat. Thank you for being here. Welcome everybody coming in. Everyone is welcome as long as you're respectful. My understanding is that we have a verdict. We will know when everybody comes in. I know earlier when there was a question, the question was just brought to the sidebar, which was different when there were questions in the Jennifer Crumbly trial. We all got to hear the questions and the answers. This judge is different. Whenever she wants to have a little conference with the lawyers about, benign matters like should we take a break, she calls sidebars. She calls, let's have a little secret conversation with the, without the cameras watching. Everybody take a deep breath and let's just remember something. And this is something that I have in the back of my mind for, just to prepare myself mentally. Okay. That even if he's found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter, he will most likely be found guilty of the other charges, which will add to his already 60-year jail sentence. Right? As much as we want justice for the murder or the accidental killing of Harmony and the horrible, horrible injustices in her life, at least we'll know that he can't do it to any other children, right? Kayla is a whole other matter that we will need to take up another time if they ever bring charges to her. And they still could bring charges to Kayla. Her participation here didn't immunize her from charges. It just gives her consideration. From the future, you say guilty, guilty, guilty. We'll see. I mean, it was pretty interesting after Charlie Adelson was found guilty, bada bing, bada boom, they arrested his mom. That was really interesting. But his mom didn't testify in his trial. His sister did. His sister testified in his trial. And then he talked smack about his sister with his mom in jail calls. Yep, got his mom just before she was about to board a plane with a bunch of money and head out of the country. Yep.
Be seated. Ron, yeah, he's muted. Did you call for them? Yes. All rise for the jurors, please.
Grandma Cece, I recommend that you actually breathe. Do breathe. We don't need anyone passing out. Remember why we're here. Just a little reminder of why we're here. Justice for you, Harmony. Good. Breathe in and breathe out. It'll be okay.
You may be seated.
Even if we don't get what we want, it'll
Will the
be okay.
foreperson please rise? Mr. Foreperson, it's the court's understanding that the jury has reached a verdict in this matter.
That's correct.
As to charge ID 1937947C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree assault, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
As to charge ID 2027112C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree murder, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And as to charge ID 2027113C, charging the defendant with the crime of falsifying physical evidence, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027114C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of abuse of corpse, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027115C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of tampering with witnesses and informants, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your service. You've performed an important civic duty, and that is as to the alternates as well as all the deliberating jurors. What we're going to do now is I'm going to send you back into the deliberation room. The alternates are going to be able to go back now with you. You can discuss the case with each other. So it's an opportunity for you to do that. I'm going to take a few minutes with the lawyers here, and then I will come in to discuss a couple of other matters with you further, and then you'll be released from your service. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. All rise for the jurors, please.
justice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Counsel, we just need to schedule sentencing. I don't know how much time the parties feel that they need.
We'll say we are scheduled here on Thursday the 2nd of March.
I'm going to look and see if there's any interviews outside of the
For
courtroom.
both sides be prepared. Actually, I don't know what the court may not have sufficient time that day. So let me just look.
They're talking about a sentencing date.
No, I'm actually going to be in trial that day. I have a docket in the morning, but I'm in trial after. It may be that maybe we could just get some time frame. Let me look to the state first about how long do you need to be prepared, and I'll have.
We may need to at least go a little bit of time beyond that. I would say, sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar as well.
Better not to give me a date. Just tell me about how far out and about how much time you think you'll need.
I think, Your Honor, we're going to need roughly 4 weeks, so somewhere around the last week of March, first week of April.
So sometime after April 1st. I know I'm going into a lengthy trial in April, so we'll see what we can do. About how long a hearing do you feel that you'll need?
Based upon my best estimate, Your Honor,
I'm not sure what's happening. Sorry.
At least half the day, so at least a solid 3 hours. Would be the safest time period to go. If we use less of it, we use less.
Okay, just knowing what the court's docket is, and then I know I have a 3-week trial also in April. It may not be possible to get it in that month, but we'll do it as quickly thereafter as we can, as long as that's sufficient for the defense.
Putting us into May. Certainly plenty of time.
Okay, if there are other constraints, please let the court know. Otherwise, we'll schedule it as the docket permits in sometime after April 1st. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
We have jury trials to work around, but.
Okay. All right. I'm not inclined. I know the parties are preparing sentencing memos. I'm not inclined for a PSI unless somebody feels that one would be needed. No. Okay. Very good. Sentencing memos. Any sentencing memos should be in. I would say, given the time frame, if you can sentencing memos in 10 days in advance, that would be helpful to the court. That will give time for the court to consider any information, ample time to consider any information the court needs to consider. Anything else we need to accomplish today?
I think, Your Honor, just from the state's perspective, when we do have the sentencing date, we're getting closer. The state will ask under RSA 651:4-A that the defendant, whether he likes it or not, will have to be transported here for the sentencing, pursuant to that statutory authority.
Okay. If you're going to file something, did you say?
File that, Your Honor.
Okay.
There's very clear statute on it, there's case law on it. We will provide that to the court ahead of time and do that in plenty of time so that the defense can respond to that before we get anywhere near that 10-day mark ahead of the hearing.
Okay. Anything else the defense wants to raise?
Not at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Yeah, I had a very strong feeling it was going to go that way. So, and I want to address everyone's comments about sentencing being on a different date. And Jackie Daytona is basically saying what I am about to say. They have to give time for victim impact statements. So in sentencing, what they do is they gather a lot of different people together to provide a victim impact statement, and victim impact statement involves family members, and they come from a lot of different places. Also, he must be there for the sentencing. He really has to be there for the sentencing. So they have to pick a date where all the parties are available, including potentially out of state witnesses or victims who have the time to create their statement, get up, take time off of work, get there, and then also transport him from the prison to the jail and then to the courthouse. Let's see if we can hear them saying anything here. Oh, no, we can't. Man, that kid is tall. He is so tall. They're going to have drinks tonight. Let me tell you, they're going to have some well-deserved drinks tonight. So they have to set those in the future, so that just to make sure everybody's there. And it really depends on where all of the people reside. Right. So just as a reminder, in case he does have to be there for the sentencing. I read up on it because I wanted to figure out, okay, so he doesn't have to be there. I'm going to take this off the screen now. So he doesn't have to be there for the verdict, but he does have to be there for the sentencing. And I think we can probably predict what his nature will be like during the sentencing, and it'll probably look a lot like this. It'll probably look a lot like this. Because, people like him are never able to show their true emotions, never able to show when they're really upset or scared or whatever. They have to cover it up by being defiant and being assholes and all that type of stuff. So I'm relieved. I'm very relieved that finally there is some semblance of accountability for this little girl suffering in the horrendous manner that she suffered. It was horrendous. It was, yeah, that would be fun. A meme contest. Those are the kind of meme contests I can get behind, Lil Red. For someone who truly and wholly deserve it, like him, a monster like him. I really, really, I really appreciate everybody being so respectful to each other here. There were a lot of, yes, he is already in prison for like 60 years. So that's what I was saying earlier, that even if we, don't get a guilty plea or guilty, thanks, Chip. If we don't get a guilty verdict, at least we know he's locked away for a long time and he can't do this to another child for a long time. 70 plus. Okay. Right. Gun charges and a burglary charge as well, I believe. Exactly. He could get shanked before sentencing, so he might not be there. He might even try to take himself out before sentencing. Firearms and armed burglary, I believe. And he's suspected for the murder of a kid in like 2008. I don't think they've ever charged him for it, but he is a suspect for it. So I'm just going to share my links one more time. Just for your consideration. But I love talking to you all. I'm working on a pretty interesting and big project that I will be sharing with you all soon. it'll be on my other channel, but I know you all follow my other channels, so that won't be a problem, right? Checkmate Humanity. But I can't wait to share it with you. I think it'll be well worth your time. And in the meantime, let's thank the good Lord above and who else participated in justice for harmony, for that justice, whatever justice is being served. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care and be kind to everybody everywhere you go, including on the internet, because you have no idea what people are going through in their private lives. Bye-bye.